Welcome back to the Real TTC Podcast.
Welcome back, y'all.
How's everybody doing? I'm here with Terrence.
We'll start from this side.
Oh yeah, we start with
SJ.
Terrence.
Mike.
And Gabby.
All right. So, what do you guys want to talk about today? Like, what is the main topics you guys want to talk about today?
Our main topic is going to be AI in general.
Okay.
But our first topic that we're going to go in depth with is going to be like the new Tesla line of things that were just released not too long ago about all the transportation, the personless driver feature, I think, and then the robots themselves and stuff like that. So, yeah.
So how do you guys feel about that?
We'll start from this side.
I mean, I think it's interesting, but also, I mean, it's also not interesting. I mean, it doesn't seem like something that I'd be, like, interested in or, like, buying.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's kind of...
Well, not even, like, from a buying perspective. Like, how do you feel about that? Like, a lot of people...
Kind of, like, I don't think it's useful.
Oh, really?
Mm-hmm.
Why not?
Well, I didn't really learn about it, but I just think that... What was I going to say? Well, I don't really know what it's supposed to be doing. Is it supposed to be like an assistant or something?
Oh, you talking about the robots itself?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. The robots, I think they're supposed to be basically multi-purpose for what you need it for. Like if you're at a job and how they say robots can replace jobs and stuff like that, they can, but they're claiming that they want them to be more of like a helper rather than like to take over the job. So if like there's like a harder job that you can't do, or like at the unveiling there was a bartender, the robot bartender, who was a bartender. So yeah, that's one of the jobs that he's able to do. And I'm sorry, I shouldn't give them pronouns, but they're able to fully comprehend things. Because like in the video I was watching on TikTok, when they was talking to the robot, he was waving and he asked him to do a pose or something like that, and then the robot responded off something that he didn't even say. He was like, well, I can also do this, and he went on to show other signs and stuff like that. And I thought that was interesting how they can like they actually are more like, they built them to be more like humans rather than I ask you a question, you answer me this in silence. But one thing I did notice about them, that they're a bit slow to answer and to respond, because it's obviously like if you say hey Siri or something like that, it takes a bit. They're like and then they wait to hear what you have to say and all that. But you can see that it's AI. It's not trying. It's AI trying to be human, basically. It's trying a bit too hard for me, but that's how I feel about that.
So would you say that you feel like that's a good thing in a way? Like it's kind of trying to be more like human? Or would you say that's kind of a bad thing?
I think
kind of replacing human.
Well, I don't think they can replace humans. Let me get that. That there's no way that AI is going to be replacing humans, especially not with the amount of people that are against it. If there is any amount of people that are against it, it can cause like the whole propaganda behind it. Did y'all know like the whole unveiling was built behind? Y'all know the movie iRobot? So and it's called We Robot. The whole little intro to it was called We Robot, because what they were trying to do was shift the perspective off of the propaganda that was propaganda. They say it was propaganda, which still happened. But anyway, trying to shift the perspective on AI and how it could be good and how blah blah blah. And I know you hit on the robots, but I wanted to hit on the transportation thing too, also because of these big cyber tech. I'm not talking about the actual Tesla cars, but the big buses. I think they are the buses. Yeah, and I think these buses, what they're portraying them to be able to do is to replace public transportation, basically to make it cheaper to do this, or your car can make you money while it's just sitting on your lawn or sitting in your driveway. It could be driving, help people picking them up and making you money and all that. I just think that's really weird to have your car pick up a stranger, and you don't like, this is a stranger getting into your car and it comes back to your house afterwards. That could be very dangerous in so many ways that I don't even want to think about. Like, imagine like these AI things don't have feelings. Imagine like a child wanting to run away. They just hop in one of these things. The AI can't be like, well, no, you're not old enough because they're not asking for ID. It's a ride. You pay, you get in. It's just free transportation. Like it's not very, and I'm pretty sure they're gonna push out regulations on it later and be like, we're gonna add this and add that, upgrade this and upgrade that. And well, that's great. It still doesn't take the principle out of there's a stranger getting into the car that you bought, doing and going God knows where, and doing God knows what. I don't think that's very smart concept for me. And like the whole public transportation, that's different because that's a bus, many people. But I'm saying like specifically on the your car thing, going out and making money. So yeah.
And then also, I like to include like not only a human driver has more like overtime skill and like know how to react to people that get inside the car and stuff like that. So they know how to deal with certain situations.
Instincts.
Yeah, instincts and stuff like that. But if you had like a robotic car or something like that, this is like encrypted into this like system. They don't really have like empathy. They don't have none of that like emotion and stuff that a normal like driver would have. So I personally don't think that's like a good thing to have. But like she said, there are gonna be upgrades and stuff like that. But as we've seen throughout like years, they don't put out the upgrades. Like they don't pull out the full thing. They put out kind of like pieces of it, then eventually add upgrades. So there's gonna be probably problems. Then they're gonna find upgrades. But I don't know.
Well, also to hop on this whole thing, the whole cheaper transportation and all that. How do we know how much these things cost? Because I don't have like a set number. Does anybody know how much these things cost? Can we look that up? Okay. I'm pretty sure it's kind of high for this much money. I know Elon's a billionaire and all that, but why is this man? And of course, I'm not saying this is not humane for him to be wanting to push society on, help, people with their money issues or whatever. But it's just like, it doesn't make sense to me why a billionaire who's not that I know of have done anything for outreach or anything like that, or portrayed these characteristics of unselfishness will all of a sudden be like, I'm doing this for this reason, for the people, I love people, blah, 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 blah. And it's just like, what are you getting out of it? I just feel like there's something he's getting out of it that's not shown, or even if it is shown, I don't see it. I don't know. Of course he's getting money out of it. Everybody, but it's just, I feel like he's just getting something else out of it because he just doesn't seem like that.
He's definitely not a philanthropist.
Yeah, like that selfish person. I know I'm not.
Right.
Even down here in Selma, there's people with Teslas. They gotta go out of town just to get their car fixed. And stuff like that. We don't have mechanics down here that can really work on Tesla cars without like messing them up, or what I'm saying, they don't really like not really familiar with the pieces. So
it just ain't worth it to me. Like the amount of money and the novelty of it's going to wear off eventually. And Elon Musk is about Elon Musk. Let's be honest.
Yeah. I see no selfishness.
Nah, I see it as him trying to make more money because that's mainly the job. But as he's making these robots, I feel like he's trying to build something that everybody would like. Because some people are very fascinated with it, but like trying to get these robots to feel like humans or act like us, it's not possible. It really isn't. They don't have a conscience like us. They don't have a heart like us. They don't have feelings like us. It's not that easy to do that.
Well, I will say I'm not defending him in any way when I say this, but I will say I don't think he's trying to make them more like humans so that he can they can just be like more like human. I feel like the main goal of him doing that is to, like I said, push the propaganda away from AI and to get people to like them.
Yeah, into liking
it.
The
scariness of it's going to take over the world or whatever. I think that's his main goal with making them more human-like, because if we see something that's more like us, we'll have more empathy for it. Which is, I think, stupid, having empathy for something that doesn't feel empathy.
Yeah.
Doesn't make sense to me. But so I think that's what he's trying to do. But
also I'd like to say something about like the hackers as well.
the hackers?
Hackers.
Okay.
Hackers.
I see what you mean.
They get into a lot of things like what we considered hacking a while ago. It was more or less, I get into this, boom, I'm in all your stuff pretty much. $100, like a little small thing. Now we have kind of like more protection, but as we like grow, that protection is gonna get smaller and smaller in a way, unless we add more protection to like stuff like that. So I don't know. I think too much of the AI stuff is gonna bring more hackers out, and yeah.
It seems like there's a data leak like every week now. Right?
Yeah.
Same thing with the Instagram stuff.
Yeah.
I know y'all remember that, right?
Yeah.
They kind of dropped the what was it, monetization?
I know
or
what you're
something
talking
like
about.
that.
Mhm.
And
Yeah.
they were delaying flights and stuff like that, all this stuff. But yeah, stuff gets broken into almost every other day. So what's his protection with the AIs and stuff like that? And what she was bringing about the buses, somebody can also hack into the buses, take you somewhere. You see what I'm saying?
Especially
of
the
the
Ubers,
buses.
especially the little Tesla taxis also.
Right.
Yeah. So
Speaking of the
Because there's no
Tesla
human.
Cybercab, I looked up the cost for it and all that, and it says Tesla CEO Elon Musk has unveiled the company robotaxi Cybercab, promising it will cost less than US dollars $30,000, and announced plans to bring autonomous driving in its Model 3 and Model Y cars in California and Texas by next year. So this is very soon, obviously, and it says under $30,000, which is great, but who's paying the $30,000?
Yeah, that's one thing about the AI. I think what he's doing is it's a breakthrough, but at the same time, you have to look at the ethical part of it. You have to look at the hackers. You have to look at another thing. People are not ready for AI yet. People are afraid because when they think of AI, they think of some type of sentient being that has the ability to do things. And one of the things that I've noticed that is affecting, and I'm pretty sure you guys already seen already, is that the job industry. Yeah, great having public transportation with AI is cool, but that's putting the bus driver out of the business. It's putting out. You guys seen already with delivery drivers with Domino's. Domino's has an automated car already. They're already in Atlanta. Chick-fil-A has a little robot that delivers food in Atlanta already. That's just the part we have to worry about. And then on top of that, the hackers, there's nothing wrong with AI as far as like trying to assist people. But I think what's happening is we're becoming a little bit over reliant on the technology. And it just takes one hacker to just infiltrate our infrastructure. Prime example, the pipeline that happened in 2021, 2022, when the pipeline got hacked. And we had no access to our fuel, stuff like that. All he has to do is just hack in there, and then boom. AI sounds cool and everything, but just hacking and messing up the infrastructure, it can shut down buses, it can shut down grids. That's what people are afraid of.
And we're about to have to move on. So
I want to touch on one thing. On the one thing you brought up, I want to say something about the possibility of the good side of that, of the taking of the jobs. There would have to be a lot of regulation on this, but eventually you want it to move towards making our lives easier and us not having to work so hard and robots doing all that. But the money that's generated from that needs to be distributed to all the people, like evenly. Like it shouldn't be companies or individuals getting rich off of it. It should be everybody should profit from this and have an easier, way of life, and everybody should be able to live good off that. That's it going, in a good direction, but greed usually takes over. So
Exactly. And like I said, we're gonna have to move on. But one thing I would like to mention that you just said, that just reminded me of. I feel like I don't know if this is his exact intention, but this is giving me like the feel that he's actually intending for these things to take jobs, because he described it as I never knew these things existed, so that just baffled me even more. Like showing he just put that disappeared in history. There were people who manned elevators back in the day. Like people didn't know how to use elevators, and I forgot what they're called, but like I learned that like yesterday or the day before yesterday. I never knew that. And it's crazy how they disappeared so much that the newer generation doesn't even know about them. And basically, that's what he's saying this is going to do. So I don't know if that's his intention to take away jobs, but that's what it seems like to me. Did y'all know that? I didn't know. I did not know that.
So like pretty much what the AIs are meant to do, the pretty much butlers, like mainly what he's making them for, like, help out with daily things they're supposed to be doing, like walking the dog, or feeding the kids, feeding just when you want a meal or something like that. Pretty much that's what it's for.
But speaking of the kids, our next topic is going to be like Chat GPT and AI, and it's not just Chat GPT. I'm specifically saying that because it's one of the most popular things used by high schoolers, which is this is what we're projecting this at. So how do y'all feel about like AI in high school and stuff like that?
Well, I don't like Chat GPT. I don't like AI at all. I know I talked about that before, but I just don't like AI or Chat GPT. I just don't like it just seems really unnatural to me. Yeah.
So, like, what would you say that? What part of it would you say that kind of makes it feel unnatural?
Well, I know it's basically like AI. It's artificial intelligence, like talking to you, but it seems very robotic. And I know they're trying to kind of like fix that or something by adding the voice to it and stuff, but it still doesn't really help. I just don't like it.
As a high school student myself, I don't think it should be incorporated into the learning system, but it does kind of benefit in a way.
It does.
With certain things and certain assignments, but it's kind of like keep it on a low kind of thing. I wouldn't go around saying, "Oh, I'm using Chat GPT to do my work," but
So there's a taboo-ness to it.
yeah, it's like a little thing you don't really like talk about for real.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
But I feel like over the years, well, they're already kind of like figuring out ways to kind of stop Chat GPT anyways, because AI detection, all that. So, like I said, I don't think it should be incorporated into the school system. I'm not gonna say I don't support it because high school student, but yeah, that's pretty much what I had to say.
I actually agree that I think it's a really good thing for me myself. I don't believe it should be used to cheat, but I feel like it should be used to enhance learning. Not only is it better for, have you ever had an assignment like
like an essay?
Not even just the essay or like any assignment, you have to research a person.
Yeah.
And you have to go through tons and tons of information.
And you can't find that much of stuff. That's where Chat GPT comes in.
Yeah, and it's like you can't find that much stuff on this person. And I used that recently for that. Like I couldn't find much in this person. I was researching for a project. So I found it really helpful. And it's when I said I used it, someone I know was like, "Oh, you use Chat GPT, to cheat and all that." I'm like, "No." I'm like, "No." And the reason why I bring that up is because there's a stigma behind it already. Even though it's new, there's already if you use Chat GPT, you're already cheating. It's like you're cheating. You're cheating. They just bounce it off as cheating.
But if you can't find that much information, I say it's kind of a way to help yourself out. Because if you say you're looking up who's a random artist or a random actress, Jennifer Lawrence. Say you're doing like a little essay on Jennifer Lawrence, and you can't really find the information you need, so you decide to use ChatGPT to look up like some important facts that can actually help out with your essay. Then you see a bunch of things like, oh, I didn't know this about Jennifer Lawrence. Maybe it might surprise them that you found out this information. Like,
another interesting thing I found about ChatGPT is like whenever you look for information about stuff, there's a little thing that I asked, and at the way bottom of it, it was like, this information hasn't been updated since this year, which is really important too, because if it's a newer thing, then it won't have information on it, and it can't help you out on it, and so you have to go look for it. I just feel like it's very, very important, especially on historical things, because new findings can be found and new things can be turned around. That's wrong, but and stuff like that. So I think it's really helpful, and I'm not gonna turn a blind eye to it. Is used for cheating, obviously, and it's not very sometimes, and it's not very helpful for the teachers. And I noticed that, and I don't think that's fair, and I don't think it should be integrated completely into the learning system either. But but I feel like it should be utilized because it's what it's used for. And you said you didn't like it because it wasn't human enough, right? Like I think I like it. How? Sorry, I think I like that it's not human enough because if it's too human-like, it can replace the need. Like I like tutors. Like I've never been to tutoring myself, but I've tutored somebody myself, and I feel like it really helped me learn from the person because everybody has different ways of learning. Why AI has a this is the one way I do it. It takes internet information from the internet, gives you this information, and I really feel like human interaction is really needed, and I can maybe even show people that and I feel like I don't know if this is completely true, but I feel like it doesn't. I'm sorry, it helps with plagiarism because you're not copying from a person. It's
you're copying
AI
from an AI. Yeah,
Right.
I'm not saying you should take fully what it says and put in your essay, but I'm saying that.
I say you take parts of it and try to like turn it into your own words.
Just like non-plagiarism.
Yeah.
It's a good practice all the time.
Yeah.
It's a good adaptive learning tool. It's instant information. I think it should be used. It should be utilized, but not implemented in schools simply because of the plagiarism, ethical stuff. For example, one of my partners in my veteran group, she's going to school for nursing. She attempted to use ChatGPT to help with one of her tests. Well, in their system, they have an AI that detects another AI. Right. Like, do you really want to go to a doctor that used ChatGPT their entire career in college? No. I think it's good to use as far as like you said, when you type in Jennifer Lawrence, it'll tell you everything about her, but there'll also be sources of where it goes. Like, for example, if you want to do a survey, or not a survey, but an essay on her, it'll tell you the sources of where it come from, and at the bottom it does tell you if it's updated or not. And it's not just ChatGPT that does that. You also got Copilot, you got Gemini, you got all those different ones that they have. But there are AI schools, especially colleges, have already started. There is an AI already out there that will indicate them how much of your paper. Now, I know Auburn University has done something like that. They can detect how much AI you use for your paper. I'm against that. I don't like the fact that people are using it to write papers. I mean, you can kind of write and just use it as a guideline, but there are people who are just copying and pasting off ChatGPT and they're passing with that stuff. And I'm like, do you want a doctor that went through school touching you? Like,
well, like, I understand, like, okay, let's say I was writing a paper and I used ChatGPT. If somebody were to ask me about the paper, and if I didn't understand anything about it, then okay, then that's a problem. But if I saw it and I read the paper and all this stuff and presented it, and I knew exactly what I was talking about, and like I kind of like learned from the paper and the AI, then I really don't see a problem with it at that point.
See, but the problem with that is not everybody takes it like that.
There's pros and cons to basically everything. So it's like with AI, you got to take the good with the bad. So I'm just being honest. I'm just being honest. You got to take the good with the bad. Like, okay, you could also use it for, like she said, helping with your papers. But the downside of it, everybody's not gonna think the same way you're thinking. So they're gonna probably do the whole essay for me, or do it how I want it like to be done. So I don't know.
I also think the main people who use it are kind of not stupid. No, let me explain what I mean by this. Not stupid, but I think they're kind of interesting because they use an AI to write a paper, and the paper is great. The AI uses all these big words and fancy. Jerry, and I know you don't talk like that.
Right.
I have never heard you use the word malleable.
That's where you're very
The more dependent we become on it, the less intelligent we are.
Yeah, we start losing our skills too. We're not developing any skills in the process. You know, you're using it.
Because when the zombie apocalypse happens, you gotta have some kind of
make a
skills.
fire. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, and another thing is, do y'all believe AI? I know there's probably gonna be like a certain limit that AI is gonna have, but do y'all think that's something like, hold on, what's something? I'm trying to think of it.
Like Terminator or something.
Maybe like something like Detroit Become Human. Something like that could happen. Like they become too alive.
Oh,
It's
actually,
gonna be limited in what how they're designed. It's gonna be a limit to it. It ain't gonna be able to just exponentially upgrade and update. It'll be limits to it. Now at some point, I mean, they're gonna build them better, bigger, stronger, and I guess the limit will be what we can design and come up with. It's fascinating and scary at the same time.
I mean, there's already limits in place already for ChatGPT. For example, you can't go on ChatGPT and ask them how to make a pipe bomb. It's
No.
going to tell you immediately no.
Yeah.
It tells you immediately. It just like it stops it.
Yeah.
Right.
All the AIs do
Yeah.
that.
That's
So
that
it's
again. I'm
already
calling the police.
right.
Yeah.
So it's already limited. It's already limited already.
Yeah.
It's certain things that it will not tell you.
Yeah.
Like 100%.
I mean,
You can kind of beat around it. Like,
You
Yeah.
can beat
around
around
I
it.
did.
You can beat
I'm
around
just
it.
being honest.
Yeah, you
Yeah.
can beat around it, but it's
No.
definitely
Yeah.
it's definitely
You be doing that, Jim?
I mean, one.
He's like, I know how to build a pipe.
Uh,
Just to add on to what you were saying, it was this video I had sent to K-Mon. It was like a while ago. It was called what's it called? Neuralink chip that goes in your head.
yeah.
So it's basically saying like, you know how like you can kind of search the internet without even kind of having your phone or anything, kind of just using your eyes. You can turn on your car without even having the key, just having the Neuralink in your head. And it's a surgery. They just drill it in your head, put it in
I'm
there.
good. I'm good on that.
I'm good on that.
I don't think I want
But-
It's kind of funny.
but this is kind of crazy that when you had brought up
Mhm.
Detroit Humans, that's kind of the same thing they had in
Yeah.
a way.
Mhm.
But
Yeah.
but they was also talking about like in the comments, they were like, oh, hackers, you could really hack a person. Like
Mhm.
that's crazy.
And fry
Not-
your brain. Yep.
or blow up the piece or like
Yeah.
override you see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But it's crazy how like the people that creates things like this, they don't think of like of most of the possibilities. I'm not gonna say all, but like most of the possibilities. Like just AI in general. This is kind of like boosting artificial intelligence into your intelligence in a way. Literally, like you're getting the internet off the top of your head due to surgery. I think that's kind of crazy, but yeah.
The real question is like, why don't they ever like try to figure out a way to stop that of just having people be able to hack them? Like, why can't they just find something that can
Well, security kind of, like I said, it kind of lessens the more people knows, like the more people like grow. So what we considered hacking back in the day is not what we would consider hacking now.
yeah.
So the more we evolve as people, what's gonna be considered easy or what's considered what's hard is gonna be easier now. So that's just how it is in general. So we're just gonna have to like keep elevating pretty much. It's gonna take years, but like we're just I'm just being honest. It's gonna take years, but you see what I'm saying? Like we gotta get up there.
Back to that question, like I always think about this every day, like how the future could turn out. Like if the world would still be the same way as it is now and not just so futuristic. Like I always think about that. That's always on my mind because some people think, oh no, the world's gonna stay the same. We just gonna get like certain new futuristic things. We might have flying cars, but that could possibly not happen. It could just.
It's kind of close.
It's getting close, but
getting
like-
close.
My question is,
We got flying cars, helicopters.
yeah, no, there's actual flying.
No, there is actually flying cars. They just won't give it to us yet.
What do
No,
you
they
mean?
showed it
The
on
common
there. There is
people?
one.
Are you saying like the common people? Like,
Yeah, like
bro,
But here's
the
thing, what's
pieces
the
are
benefit?
no, but
exactly.
It's
What do we
either
gain from that?
it's either like they don't have the time and place to like present to everybody, or they don't have the time to make a bunch so everybody can just buy it, or they just don't want anybody else to have it. That is mainly what it is, because there's floating skateboards and stuff like that. You think they're gonna give that to you? No, because they don't want to spend the time out their day just to make all those for a bunch of people.
Well, I kind of think about it like this. So imagine they had teleportation, right? Like a device or something like that, right? And you could just basically teleport to anywhere you wanted to go. where is the enjoyment of life in that?
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? Like this, it's kind of
Where's the
crazy.
enjoyment of life of just traveling, going like
Mm-hmm.
going on a road trip or something like that? But
But
Mm.
our next topic is going to be using AI to help with hurricane evacuation safely. So we all know the hurricane that just happened in Milton after Irene and all that,
Mm-hmm.
and all the damages. How do y'all think AI could have helped if they had implemented it with evacuations and safety and stuff like that? Because y'all know the roads were blocked up. Some people didn't have there was no gas in the pumps or no food in the stores. That's and all that.
Okay. So I actually saw this thing yesterday. There was this it was kind of like not related to Hurricane Milton at all, but he kind of like turned it into something that is. But basically, there's this company that has like a light system, and they can basically reflect light off of the sun and then reflect it down onto somewhere on Earth, and like
I've seen a thing. It was like they're making like small, what's it called? Like robots, kind of like drones in a way, to help people kind of get out of their like flooding houses and stuff. It's people's houses like that are still flooded. It was actually kind of funny, but not the situation, but the thing I saw on TikTok, it was a dude. He was live streaming, and he was basically like in a canoe, like in the his flooding house in a way. And he was just live streaming about it. And he was talking about it. He was like, yeah, it's fun right now, but, after a few more days, it's going to get kind of boring and stuff like that. And then, yeah, they were just talking about how, like, the drones would be, like, kind of useful in a way. But, yeah, just help trap people inside their houses, stuff like that.
Just to touch base on that, I think the drones would be a good thing. Simply because one of the issues that we had with Hurricane Milton, and it was when they did the emergency, they did the state of emergency for Florida. They notified the Floridans that if they did not leave, they would not get help for the first 20 to 48 hours. It takes a lot of manpower to get these companies out there, to get a helicopter, fuel the helicopter up to go look for people. It's a lot easier, more convenient to have a drone go out and look for people versus getting a helicopter, getting the people out there. And it's safer to do a drone versus having a rescue team go out there, because the first 24 to 48 hours, people couldn't go anywhere. It was almost impossible to get to them in their flooded homes. As far as like AI, it could have helped with evacuation routes.
Right.
Show people, and then also help with as far as like do real-time communication, real-time storm surge and communication, so people can understand, hey, where the storm is going. It's constant. The downside to AI, though, is that, like he said earlier, there's 2 million people out of power. They may not have access to the internet.
Right.
They may not have access to power. It's going to be a little bit more difficult for them to look at that stuff. So I think the biggest thing as far as AI is drone. I think drones is like the biggest thing. But before the hurricane happened, evacuation routes, I'm pretty sure they have AI implemented to show which areas will be more impacted so people can escape, stuff like that. But people are stubborn. Like I said, they're uncomfortable with AI. They're stubborn. A lot of folks hunkered down this time, and they're still recovering from the previous hurricane. Strapping their houses down and stuff like that. So I think what he touched on, the drones, is like the biggest thing, because it saves money, it saves lives. You can go out there and scout to see where people are at versus trying to get a helicopter in the middle of a storm and try to see. Spending a couple $1,000s on a drone that gets knocked out of the sky to a hurricane surge is a lot more inexpensive than an actual chopper, like crashing and people losing their lives over it. So yeah, I agree with him. I think the drones would be better if they use those more often.
A lot of people don't have the resources to just up and travel like that.
Yeah.
I don't know how it could possibly help with that, but it's tough. People were asked to evacuate and they don't have very much money. Where are they going to go? Just going to drive till they run out of gas?
Right.
Maybe AI can help with like finding shelters and stuff like
Yeah, that's another thing. AI can help with shelters, and
That'd
like
be
I said,
great.
the AI can only do so much.
Right.
Like, and this is not Hurricane Milton, but going back to Hurricane Katrina, they opened up the Superdome, stuff like that. And I on social media, there were hotels. I think it was Wyndham Hotels. There was a whole bunch of hotels in the area, Atlanta, South Carolina. There are some in Montgomery, some in Columbus. They were offering hotel rooms for either no cost or very little cost for people to escape and go. Those rooms filled up really quickly. So there's resources out there. It's just got people just gotta be willing to like help out. AI can only do so much, and like Hurricane Katrina, open up the Superdome. Churches open up their doors for people to escape to. There's resources out there. It's just that people just don't want to. They don't want to help.
Mm-hmm.
And I think what you just highlighted was really important. I feel like that what you said with the routes, the AI, and plus what happened during Hurricane Katrina when people open their doors. That's how I feel like AI and humans should work.
Mm-hmm.
Humans should work on the compassion, and the AI should work on the non-emotional ways,
Right.
how they can help people out. And I think that's the big distinction that needs to be made between AI and human helping. And I like that.
Yeah.
And I like that side by side.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Another thing, I found the company that was doing that light thing. It's called Reflect Orbital. They have a little website. Yeah.
Can you tell us more about it?
Oh, yeah, sure. I'll read the description for the website. Let's see.
That's out of California. Go figure.
Well,
The sun is a huge fusion reactor that supports all life on Earth. The sun's light contains 24 trillion times more energy than humanity uses today. It is an unending source of energy. Reflect captures that sunlight. What? I don't know what that means. That's what. And brings it down to Earth using mirrors in space. Whoa, powering a solar future and lighting our world. Okay. After the sun has set. Oh, after the sun has set. Okay. And then there's.
it's like a solar power thing.
And then I just
Yeah.
clicked on another thing, and it says reserve a spot, apply for sunshine. Application closed this October. Limited availability. Delivery begins 2025.
So the whole purpose of this is like to shine light in a specific area.
Yeah, I mean,
Okay.
yeah. There's this
So like, what about heat?
heat. I don't know. That's weird. I don't know.
We're about to close it up. Does anybody have anything else?
I had to say like one more thing. When she was talking about the AI drones and stuff like that, I feel as if like the AIs aren't like really imaginative as humans. So they kind of go off of what's already, you know what I'm saying? What's already like happened. Basically AI is just stored data reused. So you're not really imaginative as a human. So let's say they go in to search for somebody in the storm or something like that. And something that usually doesn't happen happens that's not in their database. They don't have skills. They literally don't have skills to kind of adapt to the situation in a way. They kind of just going off their code. But I feel that, and also when she was saying about like the choppers and stuff like that, it's pros and cons to it in a way too. Because I can also send a drone to a person and they're trapped under rubble or something, and I can't get to them in time. Basically, the drone is just watching them perish pretty much. If it was a person there and they flew in there and saw them, they could get them out or try to, I don't know, something. Just try something. So yeah, but it's kind of like a pro and con kind of thing.
So real quick before we close out on that, I just did some more research. That Reflect Orbital Company. I use AI, by the way, to look this up. So one of the things that it can use, it's a weather monitoring system that uses satellite data that can use to provide accurate weather forecasts to help you plan outdoor activities, prepare for severe weather.
Mm-hmm.
And it also helps if you live in a remote area and you have limited internet access, you can connect to it if you're in a remote area. So if you lose power and you lose your provider, you can connect to this with your phone and it also has a GPS as well, so it can ping your location. Yeah, this is it's
That's really helpful.
they also do home security too. So and I just typed this in the chat. I just said chat GTP, hey, what is reflect? I said this is what I said what how does reflect orbital company affect the common household? And it just gave me a laundry list of things from the company website. I'm looking at it right now.
Thank you, chat.
There we go.
Mhm. See, there you go.
Thank you, Chat GDP.
That sounds really helpful.
So,
Mhm.
yeah, they're still working on it. It's supposed to be
Mhm.
rolling out next year, but they're doing applications right now for you to sign up for it. But it's supposed to be rolling out next year. But it is open right now for applications.
Okay.
Tonight.
It's good.
Well, let's go ahead and wrap it up. There's some very interesting things we talked about, but really appreciate everybody being able to make it here. Jay, Miracle, SJ, Gabby, Miss Gabby. But yeah. Bye everybody. Hey, see y'all later.
Oh, God.